Show. Oh, just amazing. Like I say, folks, I want you to imagine just hypothetically, if the New York Times or Washington Post or CNN or ABC or any of the rest of them had their sources in the FBI that reported, hey, guess what? Donald Trump has been investigated as a very high priority in the criminal investigation unit of the FBI for the last year. Criminal activity that's likely to produce enough evidence for an indictment. Oh, and by the way, he was reckless with classified information in a way that we're now 99% sure that at least 5 nations around the world have hacked into it and taken that information. How big of a news story would that be, everybody? Come on. But Bret Baier breaks this, and it's being treated like, well, it's just Fox News. They're just on a witch hunt against Hillary Clinton. It's just Fox News. Unnamed sources, so, incredible. Really, I mean, the media is doing everything they can to rig this election. What about social media? Let's talk a little bit about social media and its impact on this election. David Bozell is president of For America, largest of its kind, award-winning national grassroots organization. You read his work in Fox News, The Hill, Daily Caller, many others, and joins me now. David, thanks for being with us today.
Bob, how are you?
Doing pretty good, thank you. So let's talk about the social media part of this. And by the way, one of the things I want to say about social media, and this is kind of tied to the story I was talking with my audience about before, Bret Baier's, what I would call bombshell report from last night.
Right.
Here's what I was telling my audience before you came on will happen on social media. My listeners will post on Facebook or whatever, hey, here's what happened, here's what's been reported now, here's the latest bombshell on Hillary Clinton. Then liberals on Facebook are going to say, well, where did you hear that? And then as soon as they say Fox News or talk radio, liberals are going to dismiss it as, you know what, they're always lying. You can't believe what they're saying. Unless I see it on ABC, NBC, or the rest of them, then I'm going to assume that it's not really a news story. Fox is just a right-wing talk radio is just trying to trump it up, no pun intended, as though it's some kind of big news story. Isn't that kind of how they dismiss anything that comes from right of center?
Well, Bob, it's worse than that. And by the way, we're live streaming this on Facebook as well.
Okay.
But it's worse than that. Look at the ABC News Washington Post polls over the last couple of weeks.
Right.
When that poll was plus 11 in favor of Hillary Clinton, I bet you every left-winger that you knew of cited that poll and laughed at conservatives, laughed at Republicans. Hillary Clinton is measuring the drapes in the White House. But that very same poll is now it shows the race in a dead heat. I think Hillary's got like plus 2. And all the left wingers like, it's nothing, it's made up, and our people have already voted, so we're not even responding to polls. I mean, it's just so no credibility given to ABC, Washington Post at all if it doesn't fit that particular narrative.
Which, by the way, I have to say about the Washington Post ABC News poll, I don't trust that poll as far as I could throw it. I mean, I know a lot of people look at the LA Times polls and say, okay, that's so Trump-friendly, the methodology can't be trusted. And by the way, I'm okay being suspicious of that too. But for the ABC poll to swing that far down, and by the way, it swung that far down before the bombshell of the Anthony Weiner thing came out. And then when the Anthony Weiner bombshell came out, guess what happened to the ABC poll? It went from plus Trump 1 to suddenly now, in 3 days since that, it's gone Hillary plus 2. I'm like, really?
Right.
Hillary Clinton gained a couple of points after the bombshell from, so I don't know what to do with these media polls.
Well, Bob, a couple of things, some education for your listeners here. The LA Times poll that had Trump up, plus 3, plus 4 for the better part of the last month and a half, that is formerly known as the RAND poll, R-A-N-D, all capital letters.
Yeah.
That particular poll was listed by 538.com, Nate Silver, who's generally regarded by the left as sort of the arbiter of all polls. That particular poll was the 4th most accurate poll of the entire 2012 cycle. The most accurate poll of the 2012 cycle was the IBD/TIPP poll.
Right.
It had a margin of error of under 1%. And ever since that particular poll has started its tracking mechanisms in the last couple of weeks, it has been +1 in either direction. It's a dead heat. It's
right. Right now, it's actually a straight tie. I think 44-44. The Investor Business Daily. So
the point being, all the polls that we saw that showed Hillary +5, +11, plus God only knows how many 100 percentage points. All that was to serve a media narrative that pushed the agenda that she was going to win this thing. Now, one particular point about the Bret Baier report last night, which blew up on social media before the Cubs game took over.
Yeah.
Brit Hume had Bret Baier on his show right after Bret Baier's show ended. That was kind of a weird television moment, having Bret Baier walk from one studio to another. If anyone ask anyone who's ever dealt with Brit Hume and his reporting, both on Special Report, but also when he was chief White House correspondent for ABC News back in the day.
Yeah.
Brit Hume is not one for hyperbole.
Right.
He is meticulous about his sourcing. He double, triple, quadruple sources.
If anything else, he's the wet blanket on sensational reporting. If you watch him, he's the guy who's like, well, let's not make too much of this because that type of thing.
Absolutely correct. So while obviously he's working for the company and giving another host a platform to go on his show, he knows exactly what Bret Baier is coming on his show to report. He knew it ahead of time, and he. I bet you. I don't know this for a fact, but I bet you $1,000 that Brit Hume blessed that report going on his show, because that's just kind of the astute reporter that he is. So I believe it. I believe it to be true. I also believe some of the speculation out there that suggests that the FBI is sick and tired of the Justice Department tipping off the Hillary Clinton operation for what might be happening.
Right.
And they're trying to preserve the Justice Department's good name in spite of the Justice Department.
I know. But you know what, though? Nobody would be, David, no one would be. Look, if this was, instead of Bret Baier's inside sources at the FBI, if this were a reporter with New York Times, or if this were a Washington Post, if it were one of their exclusive, because stuff like that happens, okay? If they had gotten a scoop in something like this, no one would be. This wouldn't be being dismissed. Fox News would also be reporting, hey, New York Times sources have uncovered blah, blah, blah. Okay, so there is a certain thing about, well, it comes from Fox News, let's just go ahead and dismiss it. So let me ask you real quick, and let's go, that's just about a minute left. I'm curious to get your take on the social media effect in this presidential campaign. As you know, Democrats and liberals, they tend to be much more social media savvy, as well as grassroots, boots on the ground savvy. They tend to be just a lot sharper about this, and Republicans tend to be behind the eight ball. Donald Trump is really active in his Twitter account, and so has he kind of made up for this, or is this a case where still Republicans are behind the game when it comes to using social media?
Well, I think Donald Trump obviously has created this national following for himself and his candidacy. He had about 2 to 3 million fans across different social media platforms when his campaign first started. Now he's north of, I think, 25 million. Part of that is his authenticity. Part of it is, he's generally entertaining on it. We've woken up many a morning wondering what was he doing on Twitter the night before. But his authenticity allows him to sort of get away with a lot of things. Any branding Bible will tell you that. But more to the point, to your question about have Republicans caught up, Bob, I'm not so sure. I've spoken to many members of Congress about the wonders of social media, how easy it is to get your message out, and a lot of maybe not so much the members, but certainly the communication staffs out there say, well, Congressman so and so just doesn't have the time. Look, and my message to them is simple. If Donald Trump can take the time, then so can Congressman X, so can Congressman Y, so can Senator X. The people expect, they demand, albeit a digital connection, but a connection nonetheless with the people that they're voting with, voting for. You've got, I think, one of the Pew reports showed that 25% of American adults no longer have cable. You're talking about a dying medium.
Right.
And people want intimate mediums. Radio is still an intimate medium. And social media, those connections that people have, knowing that you can get a tweet or a Facebook post from Donald Trump at any point. There's an intimacy involved. So, and there's also, you get into the peer-to-peer endorsement factor that only social media provides. You know, someone may not believe Brett there because he works for Fox, but you're more likely to believe your friend, you believe your neighbor, you believe your family member, and that's all it comes down to, the trust factor. Who do you trust in life? It's those people. So that's what peer-to-peer endorsement is all about, and that's what social media provides. So he's understood this certainly better than any Republican candidate. But he saw what Obama did, and he took advantage of it.
You know what? And I will say this, too, about Donald Trump. For everyone who says that Donald Trump can't learn how to be presidential, he doesn't know how to color within the lines, he can't discipline himself at all, think about the bombastic kind of bull in a china shop, almost reckless kind of way that he's tweeted certain things at certain times. And now you have those police officers that were shot in and killed in Iowa. And Donald Trump, I mean, here's him learning and adapting to be presidential. Donald Trump, he didn't tweet some kind of go after Black Lives Matter, you know, this is a despicable organization that belongs in jail or whatever. No, he tweeted, quote, praying for the families of the 2 Iowa police who were ambushed this morning. An attack on those who keep us safe is an attack on us all. I mean, what a presidential, disciplined, appropriate tweet. And so this is, in my opinion, Donald Trump showing that, yes, I really can learn to color within the lines and conform to presidential norms. And so I think this is wise on his part, too, to send out tweets like that. So I got 20 seconds left. I'll give you the last word.
Well, it also helps him stop these rallies, packed full of people. I mean, a couple weeks ago when there was an unfortunate incident in Wisconsin with the sheriff, and overnight he says, okay, I'm going. And he shows up in a Milwaukee suburb, and thousands of people show up. He's not mailing invitations to people. He's just putting it out on Twitter. He's putting it on Facebook. And that's how he's getting these massive, massive crowds. So he's really used his advantage. And from a tactical point of view, I would credit his use of it more than anything else if he wins on Tuesday.
All right, folks. David Bozell, president of For America, on the web at foramerica.org. David, we appreciate your analysis. Thanks for